I have to say, I thought that both of the speakers this morning were fantastic, and it was a really good start to the conference. I was left with that question that was hanging in the air, which was, why don't adult mental health services and child and adolescent mental health services talk to each other? And it's kind of, I can feel it hanging around. And I'm going to personally think about that quite a lot, I think, and trying to understand in much, much more depth what's happening there. And then I'm left with that phrase from Joe's talk this morning, which is that youth health services are weakest when they need to be strongest. And that graph that stays with me, Joe, which is where the prevalence of health illness increases through the teenage years to the point of about 20. Absolutely fabulous graph, and a really powerful message to both providers and commissioners of all sorts.
Actually going to move straight on now to introduce Aaron to you, who is going to talk to you a little bit about his experiences. Aaron.
Hello. Right. Well, at first, before I started, when I joined up with the CAMHS, yeah, and I had a few family problems, stuff like that. It got me into a bit of a badness, you know. I started feeling really bad about myself, unconfident, didn't want to go out no more. But obviously, when I found CAMHS, it kind of gives you a friend, and got me into things like boxing, got me into new college courses, and it's raised my confidence in different ways. I feel like I've got a friend, you know, something like that. It's like 2 years ago that I found them, and now my life's changed completely over that 2 years. So it's been from like bad family, and I've moved away now. I've managed to move out of my home, but where all the badness was happening, thanks to CAMHS and everything.
And Aaron, when we were talking earlier, you were explaining to me about how the YPSS, which is a service in Derby, has actually helped you. And I wonder if you can explain a little bit about what it is that they've done that you think has made the difference.
It's got me out there. I've made new friends, started up with things I enjoy, like boxing, for instance. That raises your confidence. That's one of my biggest enjoyments. I enjoy doing that. And little things like that, it just gets you going and going. Over that 2 years, I've become like the different person where I don't really need CAMHS as much anymore, but they're still there for me at the same time, just to be there for me, even though I don't 100% need them. So I don't feel left alone.
So one of the things that you were sharing with me was it's been really helpful that even though Aaron is now feeling much better and is starting to move on and go back to college, he hasn't just been left. The service has still stayed in touch. You know that you can ring them up, and that although you don't go and see them as often, they are still there for you. And that's actually, you were telling me, has helped you feel a lot more confident to actually think it's okay to move on. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to highlight today?
Well, not really. I mean, just to say that it's helped me a lot, and I think other people my age at the time should get the same support I got, and the same support afterwards, even if they don't need CAMHS anymore. They still, you still need the support at the end, I think, because if I didn't have the support whatsoever, I think I might slide back downhill. So if you feel like you've still got someone there, so it's a really good thing for me.
So the door hasn't completely shut. You know how you can get some help if you need it.
Yeah, I know I've always got my brother Trevor here.
Okay.
He's like a family to me. He works with cancer.
Right. Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay. I'm now going to introduce you to Eamon, who's going to tell you a little bit about his experiences.
Hello. I'm here today to talk about my transition with the YPSS service in Derby. How they helped me before I've been discharged. They'll ask me what I wanted, and they'll try and make it happen. They got me involved with similar housing service that deal the same way as them. And they also got me good contacts so I can go into college in Nottingham and do what I wanted to do.
And Eamon, when we were talking earlier, you were telling me a little bit about what actually happened with helping you to go back to college. And you talked about they actually acted as your voice. And I wonder if you could explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, because I was really shy talking to people and stuff, so they'll actually come along with me and to my appointments and help me out. I wouldn't have done it without them, to be honest.
And then one of the things that you've also talked about is how the YPSS actually helped you to start to plan your move, your transition on from them. And you said there were some things that they did that you think other services should think about as well. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, it was, instead of just dropping me straight away, they asked me when I wanted to be discharged. YPSS is 16 to 18, but they kept me on until I was 20, because I didn't want me to be labelled as mental health as an adult, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, they helped me, and they reduced, instead of just dropping me straight away, they cut down the appointments to when I was discharged.
Yeah. You talked about they stepped things down, and you knew what that plan was.
If I needed them. Okay.
That's great. And then, in terms of you summing up what you think is important, what are the things that you want to highlight?
I think they asked me when I wanted to be discharged and not just dropping me, because I don't know what I would have done if they did that. It was a gradual, a plan that worked out for me.
And it was at your pace?
Yeah.
Very much going with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Up on the screen you can see some things that, in the conversations that we've been having in planning the presentation today, are the things that young people have been highlighting can make transition so difficult. That things are complicated and that the referral pathways are actually really quite difficult to understand. That people don't know what to expect. This one about having to retell your story. I mean, I don't know how many times I've sat on a stage and talked about young people saying that they find that one of the most difficult things to have to do. And that actually young people do know what is helpful for them, but often don't get asked. People make assumptions, and actually those assumptions may not necessarily be right. I'm going to hand on to Charlotte, and I am very, very pleased to introduce you, Charlotte, and thank you so much at the last minute for stepping in and coming to tell us about your experiences.
Well, I'm Charlotte and I'm 17. I've been with YPSS about 18 months, and at first I didn't really know why I was here, but after about 3 or 4 meetings, my counsellor explained why I was with them, and I've only recently found out that my doctor referred me. YPSS look after young people's emotional well-being, and when I heard the term mental health, I automatically thought bouncy walls and being carted off. It's helped me by building my confidence and making me believe in myself more. Because at first I was really scared that they were just going to take me away, but now they keep giving me new courses to join and take part in. I enjoy spending time out in my life to relax and talk things through with someone who will listen, and I think they help you do things you want to do, such as going to a recording studio. I'm also part of a group making a film on challenging stigma concerning emotional well-being. And with YPSS, I went on a Rethink week-long course to help me build up my confidence, team building and social skills. Since joining YPSS, I have tried things I never tried and would never dare to try and actually enjoyed them, such as speaking in public. I am also now attending the Rethink course next week as a peer-to-peer mentor for other young people in the same position I was a year ago, feeling alone, lost and confused. There's always someone to listen if you need to talk to someone to give you a reassuring smile when you're nervous, someone to give you a hug when you're feeling down, and they're always at the end of the phone. I enjoy going to the different groups, but I also have one-to-one counselling. I think it's easy to speak to Vicky, and I think the counselling helps me to talk about things I wouldn't before. But I think the group work has helped me by helping me make new friends and building my confidence.
I think one of the things that didn't help was not knowing anything about the service that she was being referred to. And as her story said, she actually was very unclear for some while, and that made her extremely nervous. But in terms of the things that she's found most useful, she's talked about it's the groups, it's the opportunities to meet with other young people that have really made a big difference.